touchscreen. It's a Dell, but it's just a touchscreen. Okay. What's the problem with this one? We have two terms separated by a minus sign. What's wrong with it, though? You can't square root 50, and you can't square root 2. It's like 1.41. So what do we do? Just put our pens down and go, we're done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
Oh.
Sorry? How?
I don't know.
Okay, what is the very first thing we learned? What type of factoring? And I said, I didn't emphasize it enough, but we're going to emphasize it right now. The very first thing you do when you look at an equation is you factor out common factor, the greatest common factor. It's the very first thing you do every single time. So is there a common factor between 2 and 50? 2. So you take out a 2. And then you ask yourself, can I square root 25? Can you square root a squared? So is it a difference of squares? Yes. So what does it factor to? A plus 5, a minus 5, and you just leave the 2 in front of it. All right, what about B? That's it, you're done. Can't factor anymore. What's the common factor of this one? 3. Then what do? In the brackets now, is everything square rootable? That's not a word, but we just made it a word. Can you square root x squared? Can you square root 4? Can you square root y squared? So what do you get?
Plus 2 is minus 2?
2.
Oh, 2y.
There you go. X plus 2y. X minus 2y. How would you check these? See if you did them right. The answer. Okay. Yes, in the book, you would check the answer. On a test, you could FOIL it. If you FOIL it out, you should get the original back. That's your check. All right. Can you square root all these things? You can. So if we just blindly go through and do it, what's square root of 144? And then P Q minus 2. Does that make sense? Okay. We're not done. Because when you're factoring, you factor until you cannot factor anymore. Is there a common factor in each of those brackets? 2. So I can pull a 2 out of the first bracket. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Minus 1. And then I can pull 2 out of the second bracket. And I get that. Which is right, technically. It's kind of ugly. Can we clean it up in any other way? Anyway? You can multiply the 2's together. What's 2 times 2? 4. So that's what you would want. Now, that was 3 steps. Okay? If you take out a common factor first, is there a common factor of 144 and 4? 4. So if you factor out the GCF first from the original, I get 36. I get that. Can you square root 36? Can you square root 1? So you go straight from 2. You get the same answer. You just do it a little quicker. And the bigger and the more complex the numbers are, the faster you will get to the answer. So you can do it this way, but if I say simplify completely, it means you have to, at this point, take out a common factor again. Okay? So if you do it right away, the numbers 1 get smaller, so it's easier to do. Okay? D. Is there a common factor? 3 and an x. So you get x squared minus 9, which turns into? What does this turn into? X minus 3, x plus 3. And that is it. Okay, so always factor until you can't factor anymore. I want to do one more example that's not on here, just because. We'll do it right here. What if I gave you that? X to the power of 4 minus 1. What multiplies to x to the power of 4? X to the power of 2 times x to the power of 2. So that's the square root. Can you square root 1? So this would factor 2, and it's a difference of squares because it's 2 terms. X squared minus 1, x squared plus 1. But what do you always do? You keep factoring until you cannot factor anymore. What is this? It's a difference of squares again. All right? Because I can rewrite it as x plus 1, x minus 1. Is x squared plus, is this a difference of squares? Because it's got the plus. Okay? So that just stays the same. So you always factor until you cannot factor anymore. So the answer for this one, which is very similar to certain test questions, okay? This is kind of a standard question, is if I say factor completely, which I will, and you just give me this, you'll get half marks. You have to go all the way to here to get full marks, okay? So just be aware of that. We're going to practice that more tomorrow or Friday sometime. Always take out a common factor. Keep going until you cannot factor anymore. I think that's it. Any questions?
This is gonna be on the test.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll talk about that in a sec. 6 and 7 is what I want you to do. You have a group quiz tomorrow. On the group quiz, this stuff is on it. It's a group quiz though. Tomorrow is the group quiz, right? I'll outline, we only got 13 minutes left. 5 minutes to go, I will outline the group quiz, what the questions will be on it, okay? Go, please.
6 and 7?
6 and 7, please.